Hi, I'm Felix Casanis, and because of my long history of delivering newspapers for a living, I've been tagged as the Lone Paperman. I just watched the latest Lone Ranger movie starring Johnny Depp and Armie Hammer, and I must say, it was a different take on that old Western tale. To me, it was the longest, strangest, silent talking movie about the West. The scene stealer was Silver, especially the galloping on top of the railroad cars. Since no one has attempted to show where the Lone Ranger came from or where he went when he hanged up his mask, I'm going to give you information on what possibly could have happened with the Lone Ranger and my family's possible link to him. What I'm about to relate is that 75% is factual and 25% is my imagination, hearsay, and information passed down to me verbally. It all started during the United States Civil War, and New York City started to ship by rail mostly orphan boys between 8 and 15 years of age to points west to be adopted by farmers and ranchers. This one particular boy, probably about 8 years old, was adopted by an Iowa farmer somewhere near Dyersville. This farmer's last name was Kimosabi, a Lithuanian, immigrated to the U.S. some years back and had one son named Linus Kimosabi. The orphan boy was so close in size and age to Linus that the farmer named him Lankus Kimosabi. During the 10 years or so Lankus lived with this Lithuanian family, he became very fluent in the language, folklore, and even reading and writing in both English and Lithuanian. Truly, both Linus and Lankus became very close as brothers could be, and they shared a dream of going west and becoming Texas Rangers, and then realizing another dream of going to Lithuania and visiting their parents' homeland. Around 1870, both Linus and Lankus went and became Texas Rangers. After being Texas Rangers for several years, I guess the legend of the Lone Ranger started. Which brother was murdered and which survived is still a mystery to me. For the sake of this story, let's just say that the orphan boy is the survivor of the ambush. As you probably already know, Tonto, an American Indian, nursed Lankus back to health from his injuries in the ambush. Only Tonto knew Lankus's real identity, and only Tonto called him Kimosabi. To everyone else, he was known as the Lone Ranger. The Lone Ranger's dual purpose or mission for the next 5 or 6 years was to avenge his brother's murder and help people in distress. With that mission accomplished, Tonto bid farewell to Kimosabi to help the Northern Plains Indians somewhere in Montana. And Kimosabi was again Lankus Kimosabi, immigrated to Lithuania to fulfill his brother's other dream. Sometime around 1978, he married a local girl and established himself as a very popular translator while running his farm, raising 3 girls to adulthood and losing his wife in an accident. By 1902, he decided to go back to where his life started, New York City. The last bit of news I ever heard about Lankus was when a newspaper reporter interviewed him and Tonto at the 1903 First Baseball World Series between Boston and Pittsburgh. It's very possible that that published story about that interview inspired someone to create the legend of the Lone Ranger. Getting back to Lankus's 3 daughters, one of them married a farmer with the last name of Lukauskas. They had many children. One of them was my mother, born in 1909. My father, Joseph Kruchauskas, was born in 1898 and became one of Lithuania's freedom fighters and was rewarded with farmland to raise a family with my mother. During the invasion and retreat of German forces into Russia during World War II, my family's farm became a battleground, so my father decided to flee into Germany to a refugee camp in March of 1945. I and my twin brother Raymond were born on a train en route to that refugee camp. After living in Germany for 4.5 years, we were finally sponsored by an Iowa farmer to immigrate to the USA. From New York City, I, myself, my parents, and my 4 brothers were put on a train heading for Dyersville, Iowa, and to our sponsor. Fortunately, our sponsor and I was unable to support such a large family, and we ended up in Montana with a farmer that could sponsor us. After close to a year, my family moved to Springfield, Illinois, and by 1952, we were finally in East St. Louis. By 1960, East St. Louis became the All-American city. Hi, I just want to make a correction on the previous recording. Blankas Kimosabi married a local girl in Lithuania in 1878 and not 1978. Also, to fortify the 75% true facts and 25% hearsay and fiction of this story, watch for the next The Lone Paperman movie / True or False.